So, okay, that's the time limit right there. Okay, so basically, I have an announcement to make. Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay, so I have an announcement to make. Shadow the Hedgehog, because I'm tricked you. But seriously, on a serious note, I am going to be taking a temporary retirement from being an anti-furry. And this is also going to be a slight rant video, but so this is basically going to be a message to both furries and young anti-furries. Both young furries and anti-furries out there. So like, being on the internet for a long time, especially being an anti-furry, there are a few concepts you learn, like that one concept where people have relationships with animals, and the other one where people have relationships with dead things, and then there are the more commonly known ones where grown men having relationships with children. I'm not going to say the words for the fact that I don't want you can go search up those concepts yourself. But I feel like by also doing that, I feel like I'm also, it's a bit of a paradox. I'm being paradoxical in this video for some reason. You know what? I'm just gonna say the words. There's zoophilia, which is the humans having relationships with animals, which is wrong. Necrophilia, which is people having relationships with like dead things. And pedophilia, you know what that is already. or at least you should know about that, because your parents may have had a talk with you about it. Okay, so what I'm saying is that there are a lot of concepts that you learn that you think you're ready to like have with you, but they just end up messing you up in the end. You just see things a bit differently. The most common thing for me being an anti-furry, I used to look at anthropomorphic animals and think, oh, how cute, look at how cool it is. And now, I just look at them and just get depressed sometimes. I don't really have like depression or panic attacks, but I just get a feeling of sadness when I look at them. And also that applies to pets and animals. Literally, I do sometimes watch cat videos to help me repair this, but whenever I see an animal, I get sad. I just get sad. Because I know what things could happen to them. People could say that I'm a bit paranoid, and I do admit I have a bit of paranoia. Yeah, I do have a bit of paranoia that has been developing since quarantine. Don't know exactly why it's been developing. So basically, what I'm trying to say, if you're a young furry or young anti-furry, and this message goes for both, don't dig deep into the furry fandom, man. And don't dig deep into why people hate them. You'll find some twisted things, my guy. Very twisted things. Things that you could just wish you could just forget. Because it's like digging. So it's like Terraria. If you dig too deep, you'll end up an HE double toothpick. And if you dig too deep with your mind will end up an HE double toothpick. That's basically why I'm taking a temporary retirement. And also one of my friends suggested it to me. He said I was being a bit what's the word for it again? I won't reveal his name, but I thank that friend. He sorta was the one who actually pushed me to do this. He is actually a very good friend of mine. I shall not reveal his personal information, but I thank you. If you are watching this, thank you for helping me take that step into sort of like recovery. I thank you. But what I'm trying to say is never dig too deep into things when you're too young. Like, if you're like 9 to 13, even if you're I think if you're going to try, I don't try this at home, but if you're going to try and understand and live with these kind of concepts that you know about, start learning concepts that progressively get more twisted and twisted. I know that sounds bad, but I feel like that could be like a mental preparation. But I don't really suggest it that much. That's just a theory that I had to help you prepare. Because you don't, so like, literally, yeah. Looking at animals makes me depressed after being an anti-furry. That's, it's like, I can remember like a lot of things, and like, you can remember a lot of things that you've seen or read or heard. It's like really bad. Like, don't, if you're an again, I'm saying this, if you are still like a young person being an anti-furry, just don't dig too deep into things. Don't dig too deep. If you dig too deep, you'll end up in HE double toothpick, as I am saying again. And I sort of feel like I'm repeating myself now. So like, if you are experiencing like slight, like, you know, so like say that you are looking at a lot of things differently in life, and you are an anti-furry, I would suggest taking like a slight break, because you may have seen concepts that are like sort of like breaking you and breaking your positive perceptions. So like, I am on one final note. And here are a few points or a few final notes that I would like to mention. A common argument for people not to hate on the furry fandom is that every fandom has a bad side. But I see that it does not really excuse the fact that it exists. It doesn't justify its existence. It's only an explanation for it, I guess. So I feel like I'm going to put this as an extreme example. Say one group has a bunch of murdering psychopaths in it, with a bunch of regular people in it. They say it's okay to have those murderous psychopaths in their group because another group has murderous psychopaths in the group. That doesn't make sense, does it? And you could say I'm just being a bit whiny, and I do admit before making this video, I would sound a bit whiny, and I know I sound a bit whiny saying this though. So like, I really think that there should be a change in how we should, and on how fandom should deal with all the bad parts of their fandom. I know the people who are into the bad stuff into the fandom would not exactly be too happy about it. But if you're pleasing a majority over as I was saying, if you're pleasing a majority over a minority, I'm saying that you go with pleasing the majority instead of the minority. Because you're pleasing more people that way, and not just pleasing a sick and twisted side of that, a perverted version of that. And that applies to the furry fandom. I bet if people actually, let me continue. If people actually started trying to actively prevent it, well, I do know people are trying to actively prevent it, furry or non-furry, but I feel like if they put a bit more time and effort into it, I think a lot of people would stop hating on the fandom in general, for the reason that it would lose a lot of the... God, oh my goodness. MJ, can you turn down that? I'm trying to make a video. Oh, that was just my cousin. I'm going to speak louder now because I don't want to get copyrighted because of reasons. Anyone in here? No? Oh my gosh. So basically what I'm saying is, I feel like if more people put more effort into making the fandoms less bad, I feel like a lot less people would hate the fandoms. For the reason that most people who hate fandoms hate them for the negative parts. And here are some other things. Like, for the FNAF fandom, furries are actually a problem in it. It's not a small majority of... it's mostly furries in general that are making FNAF a really bad fandom, and with mention of ships and such. Ships, self-inserting fangirls, and yada yada and yada yada yada. And yada yada does it. Okay, so getting back on a serious note. If everyone this could also apply to certain groups that are against other certain groups. And I personally think that telling people to kill themselves is not the most ethical way of dealing with the problem. I feel like here's a slogan I'm going to say. Here's a slogan I'm going to make up for okay, let me think of a slogan real quick. I found one. I think I thought of one. Dive to the dictionaries and not into death. No. Dive to dictionary. No. You dive into dictionaries, don't develop death threats. It could be better, but that's what I thought of on the spot. But seriously, I do not believe if you're a furry and an anti-furries are telling you to kill themselves, I do apologize on their behalf, even though they would not want that of me. I do believe that furries should not exist, but I will not personally discriminate a person if they are a furry unless they have done something bad that the fandom is often accused of doing, as say a zoophile or necrophile and such. I would personally, if I could, I'm not sure. If somebody told me, I think that zoophiles, pedophiles, necrophiles are least problematic, but they are still problematic in ways. I just feel like we should, as a Nord said in Skyrim, we should make a big hole and make all of them grayskins and scale back to tear each other apart. But except for dark elves and Argonians, we put zoophiles, pedophiles, and necrophiles in that hole and tear them to pieces. Or we should get them therapy and such. I think this is actually my longest video yet. Wow. My channel's not actually an official channel, so I might have to cut a few things short. So basically what I'm saying is, just because other fandoms have a bad side doesn't excuse the fact that they exist. It's an explanation, but not justification. And people could say that games didn't. You know what? I'm not gonna go into that philosophy talk right now, because that would make you have to go into more parts and such. So I feel like, let me think. Is that everything I wanted to get off my mind in this video? Let me think. Okay. Let me continue. Oh no, I only have a few seconds left. So, basically all that I'm saying is that so basically the primary message of this video, the three primary messages of this video. Number one, oh goodness, I almost accidentally put the finger up. Okay, so number one, I'm retiring from being an anti-furry for an unknown amount of time. 2, don't dig too deep into why people hate the fandom. 3, start making the fandom more kid-friendly. Bye.